Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video review. This time I'm going to be talking about a newly shown Marvel Legends movie Infinity Saga figure, or 2-pack, being from Iron Man 1, Obadiah Stane with the Monger armor. So this is very exciting. This whole Infinity Saga series I love. I love getting older figures that they never made, or ones that need improvement. So I just love it in general because of that. I specifically wanted to talk about this pack because if you were to ask me if I can have, one figure made in the Infinity Saga from any of the Marvel movies, what would it be? It would be exactly this. So because of that, I definitely want to make a specific video just on this. I plan to also make another video just talking about the series in general. As far as I'm aware, this is the last set. What was revealed today was it for this series, at least for right now, unless they pick it up again. Later down the road. So I'll probably do a video just talking about everything in general, but specifically I wanted to talk about this 2-pack in depth in its own video. So let's get started. The reason that I would have, picked this as my number one set or figure to actually have is that this is my favorite character from the MCU. Right from the original movie, I absolutely loved Iron Man 1, and Monger became my favorite MCU character. So very excited to get a new figure. And, of course we got figures from that movie that were in a similar scale. However, they weren't specifically Marvel Legends in that series. They were just kind of their own 6-inch line for the original Iron Man. They all had gimmicks. Articulation wasn't great, of course. It was 2008 too, so the style of figure was just a lot older. And they were nice Ironmonger figures, but nothing that really fit in well with Marvel Legends. So I never display my Ironmonger figures with the Marvel Legends because it's just not quite right. So finally we have something that is specifically Marvel Legends. So let's talk about it. I'm going to talk about the set in general, as well as some of the specifics for it, price, release date, all that. So starting off with the packaging, looks quite nice. This is their standard 2-pack packaging. As you can see, this is an interesting 2-pack because it features one very just normal size figure and then one massive one, so like a Build-A-Figure and a regular figure together basically. Back of the package, very basic, a brief bio of Obadiah Stane and the Ironmonger suit with an original Iron Man 1 poster. Here's the set kind of out of package so you can see everything that you get, and we'll go over this very much more specifically, especially all the accessories. Let's start off though with Obadiah Stane himself. Go through the Ironmonger pictures, we'll come back to him. Starting off with Obadiah, really, I like Jeff Bridges just in general, and I think that he gave a great performance as Obadiah Stane, the first MCU villain. Overall, I think that the figure is nice. It's a pretty standard figure, of course. It's something that they didn't need to do much new with. It's your standard suited body figure. The only thing that's different is the head sculpt, of course, as well as his right hand is completely new. And the reason for that specifically is he's got a ring on, so that ring is represented in that hand. The hand is also sculpted specifically, pretty wide open so that he can hold the arc reactor there, because obviously the scene right before he suits up where he goes and removes it from Tony Stark's chest to use it to power Ironmonger. Right here, this is actually my favorite photo of the figure. I think that the angle of it looks the best. Head sculpt wise, I think it's pretty decent. It's not amazing, it's not perfect. I think it's solid though, and when you compare it to some of the other figures from this Infinity Saga series, like the angry face Captain America that was shown today, and Odin for sure. This is a good sculpt. It's a very good sculpt. That Odin one is just so horrible. So an older gentleman with a beard, I was worried about what this one would look like, because this set actually did leak a few days ago. No photos for it, but the simple fact that there would be a 2-pack with Obadiah Stane and Monger coming out, that did leak. So I have been worried about the head sculpt on Obadiah here. I think that they did a solid job though. I think it's a good sculpt. Not an amazing sculpt, but a good sculpt. The rest of the figure, obviously, of course, like I mentioned, it's your standard suited figure, so not a ton different, but it looks nice. There's nothing that this figure needs other than the suited body sculpt that's a pretty standard. The one thing that I'm not a big fan of is the suit colors that they went with. This, from what I can tell, basically they're trying to replicate his suit from the opening sequence of Obadiah, where he's kind of taking the award on behalf of Tony Stark. So it's just, they went with a suit that really isn't a great representation of the character from the movie. But it is the suit that they use for a lot of promotional images, which is why I think that they ended up going with it. I would have preferred something more on the lines of the kind of tan suit that he had on, or with the gold tie, things like that, like in more important scenes that he wore. So overall, the suit it's fine, but it's just not the one that I would have particularly chosen myself. I was also curious when I just heard about the 2-pack whether or not they would do. Well, I figured that they would do the suit figure because it would be very cheap for them just to be able to reuse a whole figure. However, I would have been interested to see him wear what he wears inside the Ironmonger suit, which is not a suit. It's almost like he's got a long sleeves like sweater on almost. That would have been interesting to see him come with. I was kind of hoping or thought there might be a possibility that the Ironmonger would open up so that you could put the figure inside of him, or at least detach the arms and legs and just put the body and head inside of him, something like that. Unfortunately, that's not the case though. So because there's no feature like that, it's very understandable why they went with the suit. So moving on to the Ironmonger himself. And then we'll end with the accessories specifically. The Ironmonger, I think, suit looks fantastic. I absolutely love it. The design of it in the movie, I truly love. It's one of the reasons that it's my favorite character in the MCU. Overall, I think the design of the figure is fantastic. One thing that I really like, and that's a detail that I'm surprised Marvel Legends actually did, is the texture on him. So the Ironmonger armor, there's portions of the body that have a grain to it, a grainy texture on the metal, and then there's portions that have a smooth metal, and they actually represented that here, which, for Marvel Legends, I'm pretty surprised with. But as you can see, the kind of the pop-out pieces, so the chest, the corner, the arm guards, the bottom portion of the shoulders, the casing on the thigh, the bottom piece here, all of that is has a texture, and all of the armor underneath is clean, so it's smooth. So the armor here smooth, joint smooth, top of the shoulder smooth, all of that stuff. So I really like that. I like that. It's like two-toning, but for texture. So I think that's very cool. It gives it a lot more depth and realism, so I like that quite a bit. I also like the arc reactor. I can't tell 100% sure, but it looks like there's a sculpted arc reactor inside him, but then with, on top of it, a clear, see-through kind of piece of plastic, which is really cool, kind of represent the glass over it, which I think that's really nice, to be honest. And I like the way that they did the arc reactor. It's very simple. It's not bright blue or anything, but there's a lot of detail inside there, which I think is very cool. He does, articulation-wise, looks like he's pretty well articulated, especially in the head. As you can see, the head is kind of inset in the body, so that could severely hinder the articulation in some cases. But with this one, it looks like he's got a good range, as you can see. Looks very far to one side, which is nice. Here's a better picture of that kind of two-toning with the texture there. Really awesome. I think that they nailed it. I also like the white eyes. I think that looks very cool, and they're very much inset. Really everything that's meant to be sculpted is sculpted. They didn't cheap out with just painting anything, which I think is quite nice. Going over size comparison and accessories. Oops, one more. All right, here we go. So accessory-wise for Ironmonger, we talked about Obadiah Stane. He comes with the heart for Tony Stark and the briefcase. The heart, I was hoping that he would come with, so I'm glad he does. Briefcase is kind of a nice bonus. We don't really see him do too much with it, except put the heart inside it, and then walk out of the room with it. That's really the only kind of sequence that you get to see that briefcase in, but it's nice that he comes with it. The Ironmonger himself, the suit, comes with a set of fists and a set of open hands, which is nice. One thing that I would have liked on the open hands is to paint the arc reactor piece on the hand white. Unfortunately, it's just the same color as the rest of the hand. Not a big deal, but something I would have liked. He comes with a attachable piece for his shoulder for that rocket launcher, which comes out of his back, so it's nice that he comes with the attachment for that. And then he comes with some firing accessories, which I really like. These are ones that I never really expected, but they look awesome. So the first one's standard. It's your standard kind of blast, and I'll show you the shot of it actually in all of it working. But it's basically a shot piece that can go into the Gatling gun on his right arm, so it looks like it's firing. You can have, instead of that as well, you can choose this one, which is the smoke effect. So that can plug in and be kind of like the smoke after he's fired it is now kind of coming out of the cannon. And then the last thing is this, which I think is great. This is something that attaches to the side of that Gatling gun, and it looks like the shells of the bullets that are flying out of his arm as he's firing them. So I think that is awesome. It's a really neat accessory. So here it is. Here's everything but the smoke. So you've got the blast and then that chain of bullet casings flying out of the Gatling gun. Super cool. Just a really interesting accessory. And then the smoke, I don't think they actually have the picture here, but there is a picture of the smoke being used too. You can find that. The only thing that I could have wanted accessory-wise, maybe with this 2-pack that isn't here, but it's not a big deal, is something that maybe would go over this rocket launcher and be like a bit of a smoke, and then have a rocket at the end, so it looks like he's firing it. That would be cool, because they went all out with the Gatling gun this side, but you got nothing for this side. And he uses both of them in the movie, so it would have been nice if that was included. Overall, though, this set looks amazing. It is on pre-order for $73, which is quite expensive. It's a premium. This line in general charges a premium. Your average Marvel Legends figures, it's been $20. With a couple of the waves as of recently, they started to charge $21.50. So kind of your average figures between $20 to $21.50. Now, this premium Infinity Saga line charges more in general. They charge, last year when they did this line, or the year before, they charged $25 for the single figures, and then 2-packs were $50, 3-packs were $75, basically $25 a figure. This year, though, they're even more expensive. For the singles, they're $26.50. So they've went up $1.50 on the singles. So with this pack, you're basically paying $26.50 for Obadiah, and then for Ironmonger, you're paying like 27 or so. Or not 27, that would be cool. You're paying like 47 for Ironmonger. So you're paying for the deluxe figure too. Unfortunately, this isn't one of those moments where you're getting a 2-pack for the normal 2-pack price, and one of them is a really big figure. No, they're charging for it, which is unfortunate, but it's understandable. For me, this is completely fine. If this set was $150, I'd buy it. That's how super stoked I am about it, to be quite honest. And I'm not a collector that buys 2 of figures to keep one in package or anything, but I am doing that with this set. I have 2 on pre-order, and I plan to get them both. I definitely want a set that I can just have a ton of fun with, don't have to worry about the condition of the figure, and then have just a mint one on hand too, just in case. That would be really nice. And then just in general, as far as the set, the only other thing that I could have wanted from this set, as mentioned before, it would be really cool if the torso of Ironmonger opened up, and then you can use the actual figure, or at least portions of the figure, to display him in that mode, because that's something that happens in the movie, and it's a pretty extensive portion of the Ironmonger sequence is with him with the thing fully opened. And it would have been easy to do, just a hinge at the back of the head/collar piece to flip it up, and then just have the chest pieces and this arc reactor on a slider, have these move down, and then, it could be fully opened. Obviously, it means more points of articulation. It also means that they'd have to sculpt inside the costume, so it would be more expense on their part, but it would have been really cool. Size-wise, though, I think it's pretty perfect, to be honest. Looking at this, I think that having Obadiah come up to just the lower torso is pretty perfect. I think that it's a solid comparison. Looking at it in package, it looks a little small, but I think that's because Obadiah Stane is so much taller in package than Ironmonger is, but yet they're kind of cut off so you can't see the bottom of either of them. But when you look at the shot of them standing together, I think that the size looks perfect. So again, very excited for this. It releases at the same time as the rest of the Infinity Saga, which is the 1st of September. So again, very excited to get it. Can't wait to add it to my collection, and just stoked in general that they're making a Marvel Legends Ironmonger movie figure, and let alone the bonus of getting Obadiah Stane with him is great too. So there you go. That's my thoughts on this new 2-pack from the Marvel Legends Legends Infinity Saga line. Let me know what you guys think of it, and thanks so much for watching.